Good morning, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people. Today is January 9th, 2023. And I did this video earlier on my computer. The quality would have been much better, but the electricity went out at the server where we get our internet, and I wasn't able to upload it off of my computer, and this is time-sensitive information, and so I'm going to redo the video. It might not be as long. I'm going to try to get the information out to you in the best way I can. So let me start over and share this with you. Okay. We have been watching from the blood moon of November 8th, was a 40-day warning to Hanukkah, December 18th through December 26th. We were watching Hanukkah, and then during Hanukkah we have the new government of Israel was announced. The new government of Israel was sworn in on December 29th. And then we were watching the next Sabbath, which was New Year's. Then we were watching the following Sabbath, which was the full moon of January 6th and 7th. And now today, January 8th, January 9th, we're still here. And I'm seeing some more things that we need to continue to watch with all of this. So one thing that I want to share with you is that the Creator's calendar is a calendar that goes off of the full moon as the beginning of each month. And the reason why the Creator's calendar goes off of a full moon is because they believe that the solar eclipse or the sun being darkened at the time of the crucifixion, when Jesus was crucified, the sun went dark for 3 hours. And so their perspective on that is the only way that could have happened is through a solar eclipse. And a solar eclipse only happens on a dark moon. And so that means a dark moon would be the 14th day of the month, the middle of the month, and that the full moon would be the beginning of the month. And so the Creator's calendar is based on that. Okay, and so there's a 2-week difference between the Hebrew calendar and the Creator's calendar. Okay, so if we look at the 9th month of the Creator's calendar, December 7th would have been the first day of the 9th month, and then the 24th day of the 9th month, which was Hanukkah Eve, would have been December 31st. And so if we're looking at the Creator's calendar, just to give everybody a perspective of where we are, January 9th is the last day of Hanukkah according to the Creator's calendar. So according to the Creator's calendar, we're still in Hanukkah between today and tomorrow. Now, if this is the 8th day of Hanukkah, then as we are looking at the Kaduri prophecy and the Sabbath afterwards, maybe this is the understanding that we need from Leviticus 23:39, and it talks about the Sabbath day being the first day of the feast, and the 8th day of the feast are Sabbath days. So this is not a normal weekly Sabbath. It's a high holy Sabbath, the 8th day of the feast. Okay, so this could be one of the connections. This is January 9th. The next thing I want to share with you is that connected to the Kaduri prophecy of the coming Messiah and connected to Israel's government, one of the signs that Rabbi Kaduri also mentioned was that it would somehow be connected to the death of Ariel Sharon, and that he would die before the coming of the Messiah, and that the coming of the Messiah would somehow be connected to the death of Ariel Sharon. Well, as we're watching everything leading up to where we are now, to January 6th, January 7th, and now possibly January 9th. The death of Ariel Sharon was on January 11th, 2014, and then he was buried on January 13th, 2014. So connected to all of this might be also the death of Ariel Sharon, even though it was 9 years ago. Okay, it's the same time of year, and this could be something that we need to consider also. The other thing that is connected to this is the fact that the comet that many people are watching and talking about, and is going to be, it's a bright green comet. It's said the orbit that this comet has, according to the calculations, it hasn't been by Earth for 50,000 years. So it's got a recurring orbit, but the orbit is so large that it won't come by Earth again for another 50,000 years. So this is basically the what people are talking about. And remember when we saw Comet Ison in 2013, and Comet Ison was such a huge sign, the sign of the Son of Man, as many people were watching and talking about it, and it was a sign that was connected also to Hanukkah. And the big date, there was a date connected with Comet Ison. And the date was November 28th and November 29th of 2013. And the date of Comet Ison that was so important was the date of its perihelion event. The perihelion event is the day that it crosses the sun, and it comes closest to the sun, and it makes a curve around the sun and then heads back out of the solar system after going around the orbit of the sun. And so this comet is going to make its perihelion on January 12th. Okay, so we have a huge sign in the heavens of this comet on January 12th. We've got January 9th could be the last day of Hanukkah on the Creator's calendar. Now, January 9th, if you consider January to be the true 11th month, since December is the 10th month and January is 11, then you have 119 or 9/11. Then you have January 11th would be 111 or 11/11, just as it was the day of the flood that everybody was watching this year, and the 11/11 sign, which was November 11th. Well, now we're coming up on January 11th, and that's also 11/11. Okay? And together with all of this, we have this planetary alignment that this was just from a few days ago, January 6th, January 7th. These all of the planets in between the sun and the moon. And I don't have an updated version of this, but over the last couple days, there's slight modification, but not too much. Over the only body that will move out of this picture in 2 or 3 days is the moon. Everything else would still be in the same, in relatively the same place. So we still have a 9 or 10 planet alignment, and I don't know how long this will last, but this has a shelf life. There's going to be a time where this planetary alignment is no longer in play, and we have that right now. We have the perihelion event on January 12th that's coming. We have the connection to Ariel Sharon. We have what could be true end of Hanukkah on the Creator's calendar, and we're so close to everything that is already happening. We saw the government form in Israel. We saw the swearing in ceremony. Now we have very extreme measures that are taking place within the Israel government. The other day, the minister Ben-Giver went up to the Temple Mount and caused a lot of panic and a lot of chaos and a lot of backlash from the Palestinians, and that he would go up and basically not respect, the status quo of the Temple Mount. And now Ben-Giver is calling for the removal, over the last day, the news has come in that Ben-Giver is calling for the removal of all Palestinian flags from out of Israel. All Israel, everyone needs to get rid of all of the Palestinian flags, that they're not going to be allowed to be flown in Israel. Okay, so between the going up to the Temple Mount and between this new action, many people are calculating and considering that even more so than what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, the actions that are being played out right now on the Temple Mount could be the actual trigger to World War III. Okay, and this is all connected to this new government, the newly formed government, and this prophecy that has been going on for a number of years now, with Israel not having a government, with having two Benjamins and no government, and that once the government is formed, then you have the next Sabbath, and then you also have the connection to the death of Ariel Sharon. Well, all of that is conjoining over the next few days, even the portion of the connection to the death of Ariel Sharon. And so my perspective is, before I move on to March or May of 2023, I think we have more signs that we need to continue watching now. And one other thing about all of this, let me see, I was trying to remember, there was one other thing I wanted to share. Oh yeah, one other thing about this is that Kaduri also passed away on January 28th. So even that might be another time that we could watch. But before we get past this time, or before we get too far ahead, I think we have, over the next few days, more things that we need to watch between January 9th, January 11th, and January 13th. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you. This video that I did on my computer would have been better sound, larger visual, but this is time sensitive. It looks like the electricity is going to be out at the server at least all night, and I wouldn't be able to get this. And especially if we might be even in the last day of Hanukkah now, if tomorrow is another watch day, I don't think, I didn't want to wait until tomorrow to get this video out. So I hope this is okay. And I pray you guys are all blessed. Have a wonderful evening, wonderful day tomorrow. And we are still very, very hopeful that we're within days, maybe even hours, maybe even minutes or seconds from the rapture of the church. All signs show that we have arrived, and that any moment now, Jesus is going to come for his church. I do believe that's where we are. And so everything that I'm going to see right now, if the Lord shows me something farther down the road, I'll share it with you. But for right now, everything I see is very, very close. Very, very close to where we are. And so this is what I wanted to share with you guys. I pray you guys are all blessed. Have a wonderful evening. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.